Morning.
Good morning.
My name is Earl Perlman. I'm co-chair, and I think we should just go around the room and introduce each other.
Bill Shipley, board member.
Elena Brugos, I'm from the Select Board.
Carol Kotros, Council on Aging.
Diane Howell, member.
Carolyn Moss. I'm going to be the president of the Friends.
Welcome.
Betsy Etzel, vice president and liaison to the COA.
Amy Wilson Kent, Senior Services Director.
Ann Vandersloot, secretary.
Peg Noguera, co-chair.
Okay. We're going to start with the secretary's report. Give you a chance to look it over.
Carolyn, I didn't get your last name. Is
WASS, W-A-S-S.
WISS?
A-
Oh, WAS.
English accent, so yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Look good as usual, Ann.
Could I have a motion to
Make
accept?
a motion to accept the COA meeting notes.
I'll second it.
October
Okay.
4th.
Thank you. Thank you both. Any issues, concerns, anything anybody wants to bring up before we vote?
The only two corrections, Ann reminded me that I hadn't changed them yet, is that the piano was not tuned. It was actually, a dolly was installed to the
Installed,
piano.
yeah.
And then we gave out 66 tickets at the Rock the Block, not 56, not a big
Sure.
deal, but.
Okey doke. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report, October 2023. COA gift account, we had donations of $50. Expenses of $120.99. The food pantry account, here are two personal donations, $235 and $100, and one business donation from Milford Federal for $750.
Ooh,
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Expenses were Market Basket, $525.08. Price Chopper, $22.33. WB Mason, $316.60. And the Town Publishing, $330.
Okay.
we have a question. Do we send out thank you notes for these personal donations? Oh, good. Who does that?
Me and volunteers.
Okay, all right.
Set things up and people do this stuff.
All right. Okay, thanks.
Amy, anything you want to mention from the ledger?
Just that, our town publishing, I was shared that information with, I think I shared it with board members, select board members at one of the building expansion meetings. It was cost less this year because we're using one company to do the copying and then they do the insertion in their own paper, the free press, and couldn't be happier. We did get some of those flyers back with the food drive thing, so that was good. And I just got a check in for $100 in the mail wrapped up in one of the yellow flyers too.
Oh, nice.
So very nice.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make the motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Amy, did you want to mention something now with the director's report, or you just want to intersperse things as we go along?
I'll mention something now and then, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because October was an extremely busy month. We had some building and van issues that had to be addressed. The van, we needed new brakes and the Friends actually paid for, they paid for the rear brakes, which were about $800. And then the front brakes were just pads. Those were like 150. So the Friends generously paid for that out of the transportation account. We appreciated that. The fire chief is working on making sure that all the buildings have updated fire extinguishers. It's something that I've been here 16 years and A lot of us that run our own buildings have been, had to be in charge of calling the company, having them come out on an annual basis. So it looks like the fire department will be taking it over for all of us. I'm not sure how it's going to get paid, if it will get paid out of our own account or if it will get paid out of a building maintenance account. The fee has typically been anywhere between $80 and $200, depending on what they have to do, if they have to replace a fire extinguisher or whatnot. Looks under this new plan, it's more like $500 to $600 for this first go around to get us up to speed. And so I think that the chief is working with David, the assistant administrator, to figure out where it's going to get paid for, at least this first go around. And when we go forward, if it's going to get paid for out of our budget or a building maintenance.
And this is
budget.
for all the town buildings.
All the time. And it should have been done. I mean, like I said, parks, myself, the library, the highway department, we've always taken care of our own, but I think some of the buildings were.
Is that like a contract? So if something happened mid-year, would they come back for nothing?
I would hope so. But see, what they have to do, sometimes they have to swap out extinguishers, so they'll leave us with one. Sometimes it's a pin that needs to be changed. Sometimes they need to be recharged, just like your AC in your car needs to be recharged. So I'm hoping that they will stand behind their work.
I have a question. How many of those do we have in the center?
We have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Where are they?
We have one at the front door.
Yes.
We have one in the kitchen, a big one in the kitchen. We have one in the van. We have one in the garage, right next to the exterior door. And then when we were doing our review this past spring, we found we had another small one. It could have been an older one that was in the van, and that was updated. So they're going to be hopefully swapping out a good many of those because they've reached their life. They only
So there's none in the food pantry section?
No, actually, the small one that I found,
You gotta
I
put there?
brought it into the food.
Yeah.
Well, because you know what? You've got the oil tank, you've got the electrical panel. Originally, I placed it down in that area, but then I said, you know what? I placed it at the bottom of the stairs. I figured if you're coming downstairs and you're aware there's a fire, either that or I can talk to the chief and see if he thinks it's better there or over by the electrical panels.
How
Because-
old is that?
The fire extinguisher? I mean, it's reached its life. So what they did was they only have, I don't know if it's a 6 to 11. Elena, I don't know if you've been brought into this conversation at all. There are emails going back and forth from the different departments and the chief and David Dimanche. And so most of them have reached their life span. And so they're going to need to be replaced.
Is there one upstairs?
No, that was another thought too.
And what about the gazebo when we cook during the summer?
We
Do
could
they have the hose ready for us?
have the hose, but we could bring one over, and that's a good point. We could bring one of the, because they're small units, just bring one over while that would make sense. So, all right, so that got underway. Let's see, van brakes. And many of you know that, I think it was brought up last week, Kyle Miller, the potential Eagle Scout, did come back to the center and did want to see the
library.
location. Yeah, the little library, the small library box, so he did come out. for that.
When is it gonna be? Is it given, does he have a target date?
No, he did not have a target date. Let's see. Okay, I told you about the inserts, building use. Some of the things that I was, very involved with building use. Our building is getting a lot of use this year by evenings, weekends. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. People just unfortunately have to be reminded Monday night, the Lions used it. And when Wayne came in Tuesday morning, the front door wasn't locked. And it turns out that the person that had signed out for the building had her hands full. So she had a gentleman with her go to lock the door. And what I do in any of the, like the town hall, if I come here after hours, our building, I always go back and make sure that it's locked. She had her hands full and she apologized because she said he locked the door, put the key away in our hideaway space. And so we just have to remind our people, because again, we do have a lot of people using the building. Let's see, senior vets. Our Powerful Tools program has been very successful. Today is its last class. This is a class that helps caregivers who are caring for a spouse, an adult child, a friend, a neighbor, and very pleased with the response we had. And I was hoping to go on to something that's called Savvy Caregivers. We've offered it before. It's for caregivers of someone who has dementia, including Alzheimer's. And unfortunately, the entity that created that program, it's an evidence-based program. The entity that created it took it back and is now going to use it for a fee. So these have previously been programs that Tri-Valley, their people are trained, they come out at no cost to us. Well, the people that are doing the Savvy Caregivers, they took it back. They are going to be now charging places to hold their program, which is too bad.
You know, is it a nominal amount or an expensive?
We haven't found that out yet. I was just made aware of this just last week by the Tri-Valley coordinator that's running our program. It's just too bad because they did try to separate, people that are dealing with just a caregiver versus someone dealing with someone with Alzheimer's. There's two different, you might have two different sets of problems. So we'll see. I'm looking to get the Alzheimer's Association back to do another set of workshops with us too.
Have they told you how much the fee will be?
They haven't. Because they don't know. They're
Still new at it.
yeah, they have not been told how much the fee is yet. We've had a lot of youth volunteers. We also had the Mendon Upton Nipmuc group, their student council, did leaf raking from Mendon and Upton people. They go through our department. And in doing so, I found out that the new director over in Upton is no longer there. So she wasn't there very long.
It's the Mendon Upton what council?
So Nipmuc.
The student council.
Oh, student council.
Student council, they typically do leaf raking every year. Typically for, probably six or so of our seniors. So we have to go over our list and decide who's most needs it. And Janet does a very good job of that. And we might have to make a decision because sometimes if you have people on one street, this one will tell that neighbor and this one will tell that neighbor. And it's like, well, do we want to even offer it to one person on that street? Because that leaves us not without the ability to ask for other people if they could use that assistance. So we somehow manage. This year, this month, we worked with the Board of Health and we were able to request their mobile unit to give out vaccines because not everybody could come to the flu clinic at the senior center. It went really well this year. People have to register online. If they couldn't do it themselves, our outreach department, Janet, did that with them for them. And we had a good turnout, but the people that couldn't come, we worked to get them both their flu and their COVID shots in conjunction with Uxbridge. And Uxbridge,
What, is it, this mobile unit, is it in Mendon?
no, it's a regional
Oh.
unit. It's a regional unit. So that was a matter of getting the VNA, the Board of Health, the senior center and, the Uxbridge site all to work together on this. So that was good to be able to help someone that was homebound and couldn't get out for the
How many
shot.
shots did we give out,
Yeah, just a small amount. I want to say it was under 20. It was under 20, which my first years here, it was like 125. But everybody is seeming to go to their local CVS, Walgreens.
Yeah, that's right. Oh,
Doctor's
the doctor,
office.
yeah.
A lot of people are doing that because they could get maybe 2 shots at the same time. That's not my way.
Yeah, I'm afraid to get to it at the same
I
time.
had an issue with the COVID one this time, so I'm glad the flu shot, no problem whatsoever. But yeah, the VNA seemed to be pleased with it. I don't know how many attended the evening. Did anybody go to the evening clinic over at Misco? No, I should find out from the Board of Health.
I know I took a message from, when I was on the phones the other day, that some gentleman wanted a COVID test to come to the house, so.
Yeah, I was aware of that. Yeah,
Okay.
so that was a person that was involved previously.
Okay.
Yeah, so I brought that to Janet's attention. Let's see, you already talked about we have the TED Talk program coming up on the 14th. If you can make it, please come.
Wait a minute, I'm still right. Oh, say that again now.
So some of the upcoming programs, Tech Talk, TECH Tech Talk on the 14th at 2:30.
Yep.
There's a grief support group coming on the 16th of November in the evening. That's off-site, but we're promoting it. It's over in Uxbridge.
That's pretty cool.
These are all in the newsletter.
They're all in the
Oh,
newsletter.
all right. Well, I have the
And then-
newsletter at home.
Yeah, in December, just please refer to your December newsletter. We have a lot of programming so coming up. So October was a lot about programming for me anyways. We did the newsletter. I do an email blast. We do the local Mendon Upton newspaper. And yep, so and then ABMI. So we're trying to get the word out there about our different programs and it's showing. So that's good. So that's about all I have for now.
Okay. Donna isn't here for the Tri-Valley report. Does anybody want to?
I asked her, she doesn't have anything to express at this point.
Okay, then Betsy?
Yes, thank you. Okay, the Friends of Mendon Elders held their last meeting on Monday, October the 16th. New volunteers were presented to the members present, and a vote was taken to accept Carolyn Wass, President, Susan Edmondson, Vice President, Joanne Mondor, Secretary, and John Edmondson as a board member. Installation of officers will take place on January 24th, our meeting then. Susan Edmondson has also agreed to be your new liaison from the Friends of Mendon Elders to the COA. And I thank you all for 2 great years. At that meeting, Peg Nugera and Bill safely updated those present on the progress being made for the proposed expansion of the Mendon Senior Center. Our next meeting is Monday, November 13th, and may be the last meeting for Dottie as the outgoing president. We thank her for 2 great years in getting us through COVID and all the updates that she has brought to the Senior Center. Saturday, December 2nd is the Christmas Fair bake sale starting at 10 to 3 p.m. There will be Christmas decorations, ornaments, wreaths, plus baked goods and various knitted items. Please sign up to bake for this event. It's the last fundraiser of the year, and all baked goods to be at the Senior Center on Friday, December 1st. Our December meeting will be on Monday, December 11th, and everyone is reminded that there will be a gift exchange at that time. All wishing to exchange a gift, there is a $15 limit wrapped and bring to that meeting. The Orchestra One will be performing on December 21st, and the funding is sponsored by the Friend of Mendon Elders. The New Year's party with the 20s flapper theme will be on December 28th, with Good Thomas performing. The cost is $5 per person, and that too is funded by the Friends of Mendon Elders. Tom Irons had no update on the Dine Out Bunch. It will be announced, so watch for the announcements, the sign-up sheets, follow the meetings to hear about anything coming up for 2024. Happy Thanksgiving to you all from the Friends of Mendon Elders as we look forward to the holidays and all the parties planned. Sincerely yours, Betsy Etzel, Vice President.
Very good. Very, very.
I hope that Sue Edmondson will do as good a notes as you do.
Can I just make a few comments? Unfortunately, Orchestra of One will not be coming on the 21st because in trying to get the high school Nipmuc Jazz Band for the 28th, I was informed that they wanted to come, both the jazz band and a cappella, on the 21st. And they're going to our center and also to the Upton Center. So when I tried to get the Orchestra of One to change to the 28th, she said she's done. After Christmas, she's not doing anything.
Won't be there. Okay.
But you do have DJ, and actually for the 28th, it's not going to be Good Thomas. It's going to be DJ Chris. He's going to be representing himself. He works for Good Thomas when he does the bingo, music bingo, but he'll be working for himself.
I mean, Chris, C-H-R-I-S, and are you saying
Chris,
DJ Chris, yeah.
instead of Good Thomas.
Now, this thing that you were talking about, Orchestra of One, she's not going to be coming at all. Okay.
Who's going to be taking her place, the jazz group?
The jazz group and a cappella group from Nipmuc High School. And I've been working with them, oh my gosh, Diane knows since I think we've been working with them since September at least.
Yeah.
Trying to pin them down for the 28th with the jazz, jazz piece, and kept going back and forth with emails, phone calls, finally got them to find out that they, didn't feel that they could have anyone to do it. They did want to come on the 21st, and then they came up with the 6th graders that are going to come on the 7th, I guess, 7th. So just a lot of things, a lot of involvement with the school, which is good.
And then I spoke with this DJ Chris, when he was out there for the musical bingo and everything that night. We had his card. I called him and scheduled him right then and there. And he says, well, what do you want? I'll come out and you can explain what you want. I said, I can tell you right now, it's a 20s jazz party. I want jazzy music from the 20s and 30s. He goes, okay, I can do that.
2 hours will be good. I mean, that's good.
It'll be nice. It'll be
Yep.
really nice.
And one other thing, Dottie wanted to say that the Veterans Breakfast, that the Friends of Mendon Elders will be donating to each veteran a commemorative coin.
Oh, nice.
And so
Name for it.
as a result, we
Right.
didn't know that the Friends have always put aside $200 for that event. It's in the budget and we didn't know that that was going to happen and we had yet to get certificates. So we're going to be giving back $200 to the Friends.
Yeah, it's going to
because-
Nancy, it's going to
Yeah,
the
it's gonna go
treasurer.
to Nancy, to the treasurer, so.
Yeah.
And we did have one of our sponsors, M&M Medical, came in yesterday with 40 gift certificates. They're modest ones, $10, but still for all of our attendees. So, so we figured there's no
Mhm.
reason for.
There's
us
no reason to keep the money. No, we'll return it.
Back to the Friends. And the other thing, just to let you know, BVT, oh my gosh, there are so many people that enjoy BVT, people that don't come to a lot of other programs. I just spoke to one this morning and they're also disappointed. We couldn't get there in October. We can't get there again this month. BVT is so busy doing other programs. So, yep, it is what it is. So they're looking for another location for next
Yep.
week's.
BBG, the Blackstone Valley.
Yeah, the Three Seasons Restaurant.
Oh,
It's for the dino.
I'll tell you, you put out that sign up sheet, people that don't come to many other things, their names get plunked down, they really enjoy it. And just this morning, I spoke to one of them and they said, oh yeah, we're going to BVT
the
next week.
food must be good.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody here can
Wow.
attest to that, but
But have they checked, has Tom or Sue checked to see if we could get there on a Monday or a Friday or a different day? Because they always try and target on a Wednesday.
you know, good point. I don't know if they have. That's a very good point. Why not a Monday?
Yeah.
Except for the people that are maybe, well, in the minstrels, unless you go early.
Yep.
I don't know what the timing is over there.
But even on a Friday, since we
I
just
don't know
meet at
if
the center and then carpool off and everything.
I don't know if they're open up for lunch on
I don't know.
Fridays.
I want to say, Ann will be able to back me up in this. We're having a break from the minstrels, aren't we?
Yes, for
For
yeah.
2 weeks.
13th
Well,
and the
for some
20th.
reason, he had
Right,
down,
so I'm
he
saying
had
if you
the
want to use
he-
one of those Mondays to go there, because we won't be meeting.
next week and the week after. But he had, the reason we weren't meeting this coming Monday was that it was Veterans Day, but Veterans Day is Saturday.
Well, yeah,
But so what, I don't know when he's going to visit his son out of town, but
I thought it was his schedule that was prompting those 2 days off.
Veterans Day is Saturday, November
And
11th.
it's observed on Friday.
Right.
Which is when we're having our breakfast.
But he did say, I did hear him say that
I did hear him say it too.
it'd be 2 weeks that we wouldn't be meeting.
Yeah,
So we wouldn't be back. I've got chorus written in on the
Yeah, so that's a
27th.
very good point.
Back on the 27th, but
Yeah,
the
that's what I-
13th and the 20th, we won't be singing.
Right.
But rehearsing rather.
Okay, I had that.
and I just have one other question. Is this BVT restaurant, is it open 5 days a week?
I honestly don't. I honestly don't know.
We really need for a person, a friend's member to be because Tom's good at thinking about where he wants to go, but he doesn't make the initial calls to say, hey, we'd like to bring a group of 15 here.
Yeah, because they'd need to know that.
They need to know
They'd
that.
reserve a
Yeah,
table
so
or something.
Melissa had been doing that with him, but so I think Sue mentioned that she might get back involved with that because previously she and Tom were kind of a duo.
Oh, good.
That would be good. This up. So,
I'm gonna, because right now you're shorthanded, you don't have Melissa, so if you can utilize members of the Friends or even the COA. Because you have enough to do.
Diane
Just the
has been
basic.
fabulous.
I'm
but
sure she has.
She's been coming in early before she starts the exercise program so that she can run interference till I get there or, when Wayne has to leave and things like that. So, but the senior workers are working out really great. Honey Vardavedian just started working on Tuesday afternoons, which is good for Honey that she's really isolated and it prompts her to come down to the center
Good.
to see people. And I told her, I said, honey, people have
And you
been,
need her.
yes, we need- and she's, you know what, she's good. She's worked at the center before and it's kind of like riding a bike type of thing. So.
Yeah, she's asking me and how, and I'm saying, gee, I just started doing this thing and you're asking me, but I'm trying to help her and everything. So, but no, she's fine. She's doing excellent.
People just appreciate a phone being answered by a human
Yes.
Oh, you're
voice.
telling me
Seriously.
that it was funny watching me Monday when you,
Oh, when we were singing.
yeah, the phone's ringing, and I'm down like this trying to hear them. Oh.
You can always take the portable out in the hallway,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
something, but
Okay, let's move on to old business and food pantry update.
So the Scouts Drive was very well attended. The Troop One was using the senior center last night. And so before I left, I just went up and I thanked them all for their involvement. I've got some pictures. It's pretty impressive. The garage was just lined with food.
A lot more came in yesterday.
Yes,
than,
yes.
You know, I don't know
And
if it was
even since you left,
from the
Ann.
post office
Yeah,
or,
post office, the gazebo. People
Oh,
have been using
yeah.
both those locations too. So we had 3 principal volunteers on our end, Karen Roche, Lynn Lamar, and Julie King. So I think they worked very well as a team, and Lynn is there every Monday. She comes in and any food that's come in over the weekend, she checks dates, she sorts. Karen is one of our principal, she helps shop. Her husband is my principal shopper, but she helps shop. And she also is there with us when we do our once a month distribution. She also handles, if we get a huge slew of, of food, she comes in and that's kind of her specialty, just sorting, checking and whatnot. Julie King is, just recently started subbing for the other ladies when they can't come in, and she really seems to like it and wants to get more involved. So food pantry is looking good. Plus I have the youth volunteers down there. So wiping off shelves and checking things too. So going really well. And as you can see, donations, monetary donations are starting to come in. We just took another $500 check from Unibank. Lots of checks have come in with Thanksgiving in mind and as a result of the food pantry requests. So good.
Senior center expansion update.
I'll let Phil do that.
Okay, we'll get started along here. Peg, jump in anytime. The meetings have been going on with the architect and our committee. Here's a summary of basically what's happened. I've given you a little green envelope.
Yeah.
Thanks to Peg and Tom and work at the senior center the other day, we created a flyer with input from the committee, and we handed this out at the town meeting the other night. And I think it has some good information on it. And comments like, did you know, some facts about us, which is great. And then what we need, we started to hone in on our needs to educate the townspeople. And this will be continuing our campaign for moving forward. And I think from a communication standpoint, Peg, you connected with,
Karen Slattery Mead.
yeah.
And she wants to have some involvement.
I think that's great. Maybe you might want to invite her to the meeting
I can do that.
and get her to introduce to the rest of the committee
Mhm.
and get her fired up because she does a great job on the public Facebook
Yeah, she
page.
runs the Mendon page. She's one of the administrators.
So I think that's great. So
Yeah, I'll do
communication,
that.
anything else, Peg, while we're on a communications piece?
Not really. I think we were the people involved with the communications were very busy trying to find every chance to get our message out. Any activity that we could hear about, we would go and do. And Diane and I and Dottie attended many things. We did a trunk or treat. It was pouring raining, but we had over 100 kids and
Did we
I
have
Dottie
that? I
had
didn't
a
even think we had that.
postman. Oh, I think we did. You don't think we did?
No, but that's okay.
It's, yeah. Anyway, but
We had
Dottie
fun.
had a sign that said Mendon Senior Center, but every family that came through, one of us would say, hi, we're from the Mendon Senior Center and, please help yourself to candy. And we had the sign that said, we have candy and then, none for the allergenic kids. Anyway, I thought that was good. And Dottie and I did the
Chili,
the chili, yeah.
a lot of fun.
And that was very well attended, I thought. And thank you to Walter. I mean, he made 2 gallons of chili, another rainy day. But we were inside and yeah, it went well. It went well. And we got honorable mention from the People's Choice, not the judge's choice, but the People's Choice.
Good.
Yeah, so that went well. And I don't think we're going to put some pamphlets out for the breakfast for the veterans. We'll leave some pamphlets on the table just so that they can look at them if they
I'll
want.
get some more.
Yeah, and anybody has any suggestions, if you know of any activities? I understand there's a turkey trot coming up, but I can tell you I'm not doing any running.
I think Tom mentioned that, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Tom can, that's a different generation. No, I'd walk it, but.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd walk it.
I'd
I'm not
walk it,
running
but I'm not running, not on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah. Yo, I'm cooking this year too, so no, I'm not doing that.
But anyway, so if you hear of anything, oh, and Jane Lowell gave us permission from the Historical Society that for the Santa Parade, December 1st, we can set up a section and have pamphlets and a poster. She's giving us some space there. So anybody who goes in for hot chocolate or a cookie can see our plans.
Anybody with kids will probably do that. I used to do that when the kids were little.
See? So anyway, we're keeping busy, but if you hear anything, just pass it along to one of us, Tom, Fitchner, Phil, or myself.
Okay, good,
Have
great.
any of the 4 sites been completely eliminated?
Kind of.
Kind of. I think we haven't officially, but Morrison Drive, we just put an X on that last week. I think when we, just because of the architect's evaluation of it and just general input from mixing the fire station parking lot entrance and the senior center, looked at Morrison Drive and said, it's not practical, it's not visible. So there were a lot of things that came on Morrison. So Morrison, which is the 4th ranking.
Yeah, if you look at everybody's things, most of us put it as the 4th choice.
Mm.
It's isolated. It hasn't got the second way to get out. It's only one way in and out.
It only has one floor. There's
Yeah,
no
it-
basement.
It has no, yeah, it has no floor. It's dirt.
Yeah.
The architect had reconfigurations that he would have to do for it as well. He came in, if you look at Mike Petrovic's company, he came in as Morrison Drive as a 4 also. So this next piece of paper, what I did is I summed up all the data that everybody provided us with. We put the architect and Jack Hunter, who are contractors for the town, up top. Because they have a different view. They take it from a pure professional view. Here's what my thinking of the land, the property, and the structures and ease of build. So here's where they came in at. The committee came in with their various suggestions. And we made that all public also because that's the committee and we're public supporting. Other input, I did not put people's names down because they're not committee members. They don't have to be public. But I did want to rank the information. The traffic data study, which is, I'm not going to go into detail, but is the second piece of information here. The chief and I worked on this piece and found the traffic patterns for all 3 locations. And if the only note on that, the least used area is North Ave and Hopedale Street at roughly 4,600. And this is for a Monday or Tuesday. I've forgotten exactly what day. I have to look back here in 2022. But the trend that Chief talked to the DOT tends to be pretty, he said these are pretty on for a good trend. The North Ave across from Clough is 5,882 on an average day. This shows peak times too, if you're interested. And obviously they would be going to work times, school times for each one of the locations. And surprisingly enough, Providence Road coming down this direction from Maple Street down, going down past the center is over 12,000 vehicles. And what that is that people on 16 take the left to go down. People on North Ave come through Maple Street. They pick up a bunch from Maple Street. And it all kind of converges on. I was surprised when I found that data, when I researched the sites and talked.
I didn't realize it would be that high.
It's
I
spread
knew,
out.
I knew North Avenue, a lot of people take the cutoff to Northbridge Road. So that's why I think there's less traffic down on the
It drops about
Oakdale
1,000.
side, yeah.
You can see that pattern here between the 4,000 and 5,000 number, that people do take that Northbridge Road cutoff. But, so that's the data on that. And as we go through this,
Could I ask some questions?
sure, please.
So, Phil, I don't understand what the numbers in parentheses are next to.
Oh, they were just the numbers of number ones. How many people felt number 1 was important? So if you look at Mike and Jack, the first 2 people selected that as 1, or the sum of the total was 2, but 2 people selected as 1. If you look at the next grouping, the total number of 1s was 5. So out of that grouping, 5 people selected it as their first choice.
Okay.
The next grouping, if you look at column 1, current location, 3 people selected as 1. So that's more of the number of, this is my highest vote. Received that. That was just a data.
And then just did the committee talk at all? Because I think you showed this to your committee.
Yes, this was distributed.
Did they
Handed
talk
out.
at all about the others? How there, out of the 4 others that are there, 3 have chosen the current location?
I think we just talked about, the only thing that was commented on was the fact that there are longstanding people who've used the center probably.
We assumed one of them was you too.
Oh, sure. One of
Right, you weren't named, even though you are a member of the committee, but you were not. You're not.
I'm technically like a liaison is
Oh,
what I
okay.
understand.
So no names, I didn't have the names and maybe Phil did, but I didn't.
Yeah, but essentially we talked about people with longstanding. And the only other topics that come up when we look at the pros and cons, the biggest concern is shutting the center down for a year. And I know we can relocate it, but you also shut down the disaster recovery or disaster center. For
We
the
don't want to
family.
lose that.
And that's currently being built into the new plans going forward. So we'd have to knock off Mark's piece or the town's piece for disaster recovery.
You also have the Clough School is also a disaster.
They're not as
Doesn't
capable
seem-
as we are, surprisingly enough.
They don't have beds there.
It's,
Okay, good.
there's actually 3 of them. There's Clough, there's us, Clough. I didn't bring it with me, but there's a 3rd location in town, but we're the primary
Yeah,
because
we
we
are.
have a full service.
Kitchen. The only thing we're missing is showers, yeah, and he even talked, in some cases, you might even have to find a place to put people's pets and pet food. I mean, he really went into a lot of detail on it. See, the thing is Phil has everybody's things, Amy, so these 4 people, we have no idea if they have even seen all of the locations. I know myself, I didn't want to make a decision until I had actually gone to Morrison. I mean, I expected it to be much worse than it was, but it didn't suit, it
I
didn't suit.
expected it to be in a different location than what it was.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be, as you go down Morrison and you take the left,
Mm.
that little building before you got to the fire station. I thought that's the building that it was going to be. I didn't know you had to go down past the fire station and then take a left.
so my question is, has the people who gave you these numbers, have they actually gone to the 4 locations?
3 of them have.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
And I will say, every single day, somebody is coming up to me and saying, why are we not, expanding here? That had been in the works since 2014. It's been voted, different portions of it had been voted on at annual town meeting. And so people are coming up and saying why. So I think they're going to need to be addressed in some way, shape or form. And
Well, we're trying to do that. The Friends meeting, we've asked for the other half hour.
I was going to say, one of the things that I think people think that renovating is cheaper than building.
It's not.
And that's, I know you brought that forward. It's not.
right, and I've told them
And then
that.
if you're building new, you purpose built it. You don't try and cobble together with what you've got.
Yeah, from an architect standpoint and from other people with construction experience who are on the committee, it's easier to start with a fresh footprint for a number of reasons. The architect says from the parking and exit and entry ramp, which he's extremely concerned about because he likes a drop off point and a pickup point. It's difficult to configure that in our current building. The other thing is that once they do the current building, the interior that we're in today, the back of the building goes completely away. They cut the foundation to make it shorter, to make it 1 floor. So that foundation gets cut. So you're really doing foundation work over there. And the interior part of the house that's there today gets completely gutted and rearranged. So it is the same location and the same 2x4s on the front, probably on the front, and the basement would be the same, but the majority of the building would change. Parking we can find, we have that extra acre, which we identified. I think the biggest concern comes in from what I've heard, and I'll express my opinion here, is that relocating the center for a year and then trying to bring it all back together, you'd have things, not only the relocation, but you'd have to store everything. Or just get rid of it, because I think a lot of stuff we'll be doing new. We'll try to be doing new, based on cost. And then and I know people are really, they've gone there for years and years, and it's hard. And I understand that. But Peg and I will make ourselves available to any forum at the senior center, talk one-on-one to any individual. and just express what we heard and our feelings and hear them. But we need to move the process on because we can't,
Can't lose that window of opportunity in
we
May.
have, to make May, we need to make a decision on this center. We're preliminary in our next meeting on the 14th, which is the schedule behind this. We're going to do a committee test on this. Okay, let's start voting on this. And by the end of the month, we want to make a decision on the site. Then go to the select board. And to the select board, tell them, here's what we came up with, here's the rationale, and get the select board approval. Trying to make this very visible. We're not going to a town meeting with a vote. I think that's taking it too far,
Yeah.
quite
not till
frankly.
May.
It'll just delay it another year. And again, that window of opportunity is so critical. We either do it now, or we're going to wind up getting in line with a bunch of other buses trying to do some things. And I use the term buses literally.
So if I understand this correctly, out of the three that are being seriously considered right now, the architect had picked our current location as number 3.
That's number 3.
That's correct. He's picked North Avenue, the corner of North Avenue and Route 16 as number 1. Yeah.
And then North Ave and Hopedale number 2. And they're toss-ups. I mean, both those locations I view as toss-ups. To me, and to the data that came in, the information that came in. If you net it all out, the Hopedale locations, not the Hopedale, but the North Ave locations, Hopedale probably has a better traffic situation. The school is more senior people there, so they're more engaging. I don't know the food differences between the two. We talked about we probably need to check that out.
I have a question on that Hopedale location. Is it true, or would it be that if we chose that location and that's where we were going to go, that it would have to, the center would have to be named?
Correct.
Yeah, which I don't go for that because that person really wasn't involved with the senior center.
It's a naming rights for this person to,
It's like at the Milford Hospital, they have the Meehan thing.
Yeah, but they gave money to the building.
Well, the cost of this land, this is like 14 acres of land, isn't it?
16.
The 16, the value of this land.
Yeah, I know, but that person didn't have anything to do with the senior center. There was no connection.
Well, do you think
The
Meehan
senior-
had anything to do with the hospital?
Yes.
He did?
I'm sure he did.
Well, yeah, but was he on the board and things like that of the hospital?
could- I don't know.
What
He could have
Peggy is
been.
saying is 14 acres is a major contribution.
Exactly, for free. It's not costing the town anything.
Yeah, the land becomes a net neutral.
And wasn't there some money in the trust too?
Well, we
Unclear.
don't know that yet. Right now we're viewing it as a level playing field, as if the town owned all 4 pieces. Look, I'm old myself and I don't really like change either, but I'm just trying to look at the big picture. Like, I think moving out of the current center and relocating for a year and losing our food pantry, I don't know. And also, one of the discussions we had at the meeting too, and I think it was Mike Amendolia, he was saying, when you build this, you want to be able to expand on that. Like, in other words, be able to or something like that. Make the building so that in 30 years, if you have to add on another wing, you add on another wing. You're not asking for a new building. In other words, this has got to work for us for at
a
least
long
the
time.
next couple generations.
I think he said our grandkids is what he's kind of saying. He wants to go 2 generations out. He wants my daughter's grandkids to be able to use the center.
I think we can rehash this and discuss this
Right.
forever. I would like to leave it to the committee and to Amy to finally come to a final.
And
decision.
anybody's welcome to come to the meetings. They're open meetings.
Oftentimes when the town is doing some kind of they have a public meeting for something, I wish these had the ability to advertise them better so that people could come forward, could come to a meeting. I know you say that anybody could come to it, but it's a matter of getting it out there, like when they send out a legal notice saying, hey, there is going to be a hearing on such and such a date about this activity, you're welcome to come or not as a public.
Well, when I
We could-
contact Karen, I could ask her, she could probably do a little blurb.
We could
On
send, if
Facebook.
felt necessary, we could arrange a public meeting. We want to, just a discussion forum. If you feel strongly about that.
I don't want to do that until we get a little, well,
I know, I'd like to get better. I'd like to have better financial numbers. It's a chicken and an egg. We need to,
yeah, we don't have the financial numbers yet. If there's any monies that come with that site or not.
And the people who would come to that meeting will just be talking out of a feeling, not really based on facts. That's why I'd like the committee to come up with,
Yeah.
these are all the facts and why we think this is number one and this is number
Right,
two.
and we will be
Three.
able to do that because we're gonna be under fire when we go before the townspeople. We have to be able to answer any and all questions.
That's the way.
But- Can I ask you, how many people did you lose from the senior centre while you were closed for COVID? Because my perception is that if you're going to close to renovate, you're going to have the same drop in numbers.
I can go back and pull up the numbers. We had pretty big numbers. People couldn't physically come into the building. We met them outside. We gave them, paperwork to fill out. We actually had them, hand us forms for fuel assistance, things like that. The numbers are there in terms of fuel assist, not food.
But I
pantry.
mean, before COVID, were you getting greater numbers actually coming to the senior centre for events rather than your initial time straight when it reopened?
When it reopened,
I-
yes,
yeah.
because I think people were afraid of COVID, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So our numbers have been as high as like 12,000 a year. And I'd say last year, I think they were, if I look at I know Phil has the sheets. from last- Yeah, 12,000.
Yeah.
And last year, there were probably about 8,000. So we're building back up. We're building our transportation back up. So point taken, it takes a while to get things.
Yeah,
back on
last year, I
track.
think we had service events.
But I think to Earl's point, I think before you choose a site, you should have those arguments, not just your core group coming together and saying, this is why we feel this, but I think that those should be expressed to the public. We are every single day. And some of them they're very well-educated people, and people saying, why aren't they, expanding here?
Well, I don't know why they're not contacting Phil or I or any of the committee members then, because everything we've been handing out has everybody's name on it.
I'd be glad, and as I offered, I'll be glad to sit at the senior center, on a couple hours here and there a week and just, Or-
Something like office hours.
yeah, I could do.
Yeah, like the senators, have done.
What have you told them when they approach you with the questions?
I tell them that, they're looking at, there's a committee and they're looking at different sites and I'm not going to defend, those other sites. My preference is what my preference is. Because honestly, because it's a course we've been on for over 10 years, so it's hard for me. When we went annual town meeting 2014, annual town meeting 2018, getting funds at those different junctures for different parts of the expansion, so.
But those other committees ended up being dissolved or fell apart, or I don't even know the reason, and the reason doesn't even matter. But we have a core group now, and some of them were on the original committee. And our goal is to get this to the town's floor in
In May.
May.
Yeah,
And we're doing due diligence. We put in a lot of our own time. Believe me, we do.
Absolutely, I see
And
that.
yeah, one of the things, the last piece that was in the handout that I gave you was a schedule we're driving to, I believe.
it is the last piece.
I don't see it in my own handout. But
And it's good.
Yeah, it's the high level schedule.
Everything being said with all these numbers, what's first piece of property that most of the committee is focusing?
then if you look at the net of this, North Ave Route 16 comes up as number one choice. 20,
Which is
which
the
is-
property at the top of,
Across from the club school.
across from the Clough School, one lot in,
Yeah.
one
right,
parcel in.
right.
The second choice is Hopedale Street and North Avenue.
And that's the one with the 14 acres.
Yeah.
And then the third choice is the current location, and Morrison Drive is the fourth choice. And Morrison Drive, just the access point for the architect, he's extremely concerned, just doesn't make sense. I've heard background conversations that, the fire department may need some expansion in coming years, so they could use Morrison Drive. So there looks like there could be hope for that building. Um,
Because the towns tried to sell it and they were not able to sell it.
So that looks like there could be a rainbow, a glimmer of light for the town to say, okay, Morrison may be good for the fire department or public safety.
Right?
Carol, we can't use, if I understand it correctly, all 14 acres, even though that's what's being set aside. Some of it's going to be conservation land, some of it we couldn't even use for a parking lot, right?
We'd be using it for walking trails and see, we're trying to find out where the money supply is.
Yeah.
See, Ann Meza has been very cooperative with us in telling us certain types of things would qualify for the CPA conservation program funding. So we could say, oh, well, that's good if we can get money. Like the other night at the town meeting, that's what they used. They used the bulk of the conservation money. It didn't come out of the taxpayers'
No, and there's-
dollars.
she's finally, I sent you that, I think.
She sent me something this morning. I
Yeah.
didn't have a
And
chance to
there's
look at it.
roughly $2.3 million in the CPA fund. And Ann is more than willing to help with us to put in passive recreation, including handicap accessible stuff, which includes benches and paved stone trails. We talked about putting in, if we allowed for the shuffleboard, pickleball and bocce courts as from the CPA funding. The trailing and landscaping, I haven't nailed this down with Ann, but she's more than cooperative to work with us to do this.
Mhm.
We're looking with the select board to come up with some ARP money, which is the federal money. I'm not sure what's left, there's about,
Oh,
roughly my guess is around 800,000 or so.
that's what I was gonna say that, grants.
It wouldn't be all us, but we could get a chunk there.
We've got a team working on funding. Lonnie Tino's on the team.
Mark,
Jack Hunter, I think, is on the team
Mark.
and Mark Bukino.
Yeah,
And
right.
he's looking for me. See, where we are, we all love the building. There's no doubt about it. It feels like home to us. Don't forget, the town only gave us 1 other acre. Okay. Now, you're still talking about 54 or 56 houses going in behind us or to the side of us.
Are they going to be houses, separate
It's
units?
affordable
Or
housing.
they-
That's all I know.
High-rise?
I don't know.
But that's,
It's unlikely to be a high rise because of zoning, but I think it might be something like duplexes. I mean, there are a lot of configurations for affordable housing that are not high rises.
So that is not.
So no, because that's going out to bid to the developer. But there are guidelines, design guidelines, which I'll share with you.
Interesting.
Diane?
This is pertaining to the property behind the senior center, the current senior center. And I can't even remember, I had to have been at the center when I heard this, that the water treatment plant that was going back there has been shut down.
I put that in the notes because there wasn't enough of a water supply. And in the notes, I did put down that originally we said there'd be 3 projects going on
Mhm.
down at that site. There'd be the affordable housing going in, there would be the senior center expansion, and there'd be a water treatment plant, all in the same area.
If there's not enough water for the water treatment plant, how is that going to affect the affordable housing? Because they're all going to have wells. That's not town
I
water.
think, yeah, it was looking for a source that could supply more than just that local area. So looking for more of a public water supply, so that to get public water to like commercial districts on Route 16. So that, I think there isn't enough water there for that extended purpose, but it's not clear whether it means, for just houses. I think that there might be, but it would be that they were looking for a site for water to go elsewhere in town.
Looking for a very large.
Yeah, so very large supply, with the hope of getting, public water on Route 16 in particular to attract more businesses.
Also with the,
Big project also. I'm happy to talk about that offline at some point.
but with the passing of the Vandersloot property, so that the public will have access to that land, and that's 100 and how many acres?
106, I think, something like that.
I don't know.
116.
So on North Avenue, they're gonna use that for recreation.
Right.
There's gonna be trails, there may be horse trails. So that's gonna be kind of like another place that you can go and do walking. and
Another,
do
right,
things.
potential plus for that Hopedale
Yeah,
Street.
it is,
Yeah.
it really is.
place.
And also, I still think that there's a possibility that we could maybe tie in with the school and get lunches so that we could get lunches for our people every day. Because Bellingham does that. Bellingham is located next to the high school and they get meals.
Oh,
I mean, there's so many things to look at and we're trying to look at everything. We're trying to do our due diligence. We are. And I think we are doing that.
But I thought Bellingham said that they were adding on to their building and putting a complete kitchen in.
Well, they may, and maybe their friends are gonna pay for it, like Uxbridge does. I don't know.
Because we
But
heard
to
that from
have
one
a
of the
chef-
selectmen.
Yeah, well, you said, who has a chef? Is it how,
Uxbridge and
Frank
Hawkins,
has
right?
chef.
and it's like $60,000
I
or
think in
so.
both cases, it's about $60,000 that the Friends pay to keep those.
Again, we're talking about having a designed building that we can add on to if we have to. And if you have 14 acres or 16 acres of land, you're gonna be able to do that.
How many acres is the corner of 16?
I don't know.
I don't remember. offhand.
Oh, yeah, I had notes somewhere,
I-
but it's also big. I
It's
mean,
big,
it's,
yeah.
it's, I think a lot bigger than people realize because it keeps
MPA
going
stand
down
for-
that hill.
Mhm.
Oh,
But I want to say
I
it
don't
might
know.
be around.
MPAB.
I think,
Really?
I feel
Okay,
like
I'm
it was
just
in
seeing
that
this for the first time.
neighborhood. but-
okay, thank you.
I think we
Ah.
really need to move on with the agenda.
Agree.
This is just turning into kind of a brainstorming, which is good, but we should have a separate meeting if we want to do it.
I'm glad that it has come up because I really felt like the COA board members needed to hear this. I know Peg and I know Phil really have wrapped their brains around this, but I felt like our board members needed to hear
Absolutely.
this discussion and, you know,
I just,
glad you've allowed it.
Phil, what does MPA stand for? MPA
what page are we on?
on the schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like, yeah.
oh, okay.
That's
I
right.
didn't know either.
Okay, thank you.
But just last point on this before we move on, Earl, is the schedule, as you can see, to make the May timeframe town meeting, we're on an aggressive schedule. We really need to come up with a decision on the site location this month, beginning of December, the latest. We need to get the cost in the beginning of December, the preliminary cost from Petrovic, and he's agreed to do that. So that we can get the detailed by stud cost by February, because it'll go to a full-blown estimator then. We need to take it through the committee. We need to get it through the Board of Selectmen. And to my point, I think that May 24th, May whatever it is meeting is so important for that town meeting to get it through there and get moving on with this, or I'm just concerned if we go beyond that. This is not a special town meeting item. This is a full-blown town meeting item.
And we're talking a price tag of like 6 to 7 million, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because he said it was like $525 a square foot or
600 roughly.
now it's up to 600. The prices just go higher and higher and higher. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So we're trying to get as many fundings from other sources that we can.
Yeah. Is that committee that's working on the finances, I mean, on the financial,
Mhm.
are they looking into grants and things
Oh,
like that?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Lonnie's been dealing with Senator Fatman 2-3 times already.
We're looking for ADA
The
grants.
grants,
Mark
Mike
is looking-
Bikino is getting them for the emergency stuff. He wants us to be able to accommodate 125 people in an emergency, 125.
We can do
We do
30.
30 now. So think about that. That's 4 times the amount. We need a bigger building than we have. And it served its purpose and it had made happy memories for everybody, but you know,
Yeah, again, I'll offer if anybody, Amy, if it makes sense, I'll be at the senior center lunch days or whatever days. And I'll do my best to have office hours to communicate. We can do public hearings and we have to get moving, I think.
The townspeople have a final vote, correct?
absolutely. And I gotta tell you something. Nobody gave us a song and dance when we tried to hand out the pamphlets and stuff. They were,
Interesting.
absolutely. I didn't hear one discouraging word.
Like I saw
That's
one
great.
person put his hand up and say, no, wasn't it to you that no, he wasn't interested?
Oh, all right, well,
I had
It
one.
was only one.
Is that my husband?
He said, I know all about
he
it.
wasn't even interested in you. He was running away.
He did give me the stiff arm.
Anyway, okay, moving on.
Okay, moving on, sorry. But anyway, we will continue to do this. Anytime you have anyone has a question, feel free to reach out and pick it up.
Actually, if you could get it out on social media before the Friends meeting, because you two did a very good job, last time speaking to the group, but those, you're basically preaching to the choir, so to speak. If you put it out on social media that you're going to be at the senior center Monday, the 13th at, such and such 10:30, is that when you're going to be speaking or?
Yeah, it's kind of like when they're having their refreshments, because the meeting actually starts at 10. You guys have 10 to 10:30, and then it's like the social half hour. And we talked the whole half hour last time.
Yeah, and we'll be, yeah, and if we can, I'm sure Karen can. If not, I'll post it.
I want to talk to Karen. I want to get her on board.
It'd be good to get her rolling. I agree.
She can join the communications team.
Okay, program follow-ups. Not as exciting, but we really need to get through this.
Yep, just went very well. The Friends sponsored the bingo, musical bingo. We had the hat party, lots of enthusiasm. The fire department and board of health seminars were very good, back to back. It was a really nice thing to tie together. Yep, just wanted to make you aware that they were, if you weren't there. Very helpful programs and fun.
Veterans breakfast.
Veterans breakfast really come together. We've got really good fair amount of, more than a fair amount of volunteers. We've got youth volunteers. We've got people that came last year. We've got the best turnout we've had. Unfortunately, we really I told them today, tell them waiting lists. We're at about 30, I think we're at about 37 right now, 36, 37. And with the equipment, the musical instruments that have to protrude into the room, we're not going to have, as much space to set up. We're going to have to set up the 6 tables. I was hoping to go for 5 if we had a smaller number. We have to go for the 6. I do not want to put 7 people at a table.
That's crowded, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got that. The food, most everything has been purchased. I just need a couple last minute items that I want to have fresh. M&M Medical, as I said, came in yesterday with 40 gift cards, which was very appreciative. Peg has offered to come down
Thursday.
Or if anybody wants to come by and help set up after, we probably,
DiMaggio.
yeah, so I'd say 3:30. 3:30 to help set up the room. That would be
Who
great.
donated those 40 gift cards?
M&M Medical.
Oh, okay.
They're one of our sponsors. The Friends is a sponsor. What's that?
That was.
Oh, it was very nice of them. Well, he was gonna donate. I won't say what he was gonna donate. And I'm like, oh, that was way too much and scale it down. And so more.
So it's,
people-
yeah, so more people can get a card.
Exactly. Because they're not, unfortunately, they're not able to do Bella Restaurant again, which has been just wonderful over the years. So, but it looks like things are coming together. I've got a crew that's going to be starting with me at 7 o'clock Friday morning.
And also I contacted Chief Kersey at the meeting the other night.
Yes, thank
At
you.
the town meeting, because by the time the minstrels get there, the parking lot's probably going to be crowded. So he's said that he's going to have an officer assigned so that we can cross the road safely.
Oh, good. That's
I did,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
We are going to have 3, because it's being sponsored by the Police Association, we will be having 3 officers helping to serve as well.
Okay, holiday programs. We have a bunch of them here.
Yeah, so just, you can see what they are. Please come to me if there are certain ones that you'd like to, I expect to see the majority of you on the 6th of December for the Ferrucci's program. I haven't heard back from the Ferrucci's yet, what they usually decide what they want to order from Olivas. They work with the Olivas staff. The minstrels, the Misco 6th grade chorus was something new that just got added recently, 10 a.m. The minstrels, we're having we have a benefactor who's supplying, ham dinner. I just threw beans in there. I don't know that it has to be baked beans. The roast potatoes, absolutely. So, so the menu is a little bit fluid there for that. But we decided, I talked to Peg and we decided that as much as everybody loves potlucks, we just don't have the space. And it's a lot of work. Potlucks are so much work. So this benefactor came forward and said, hey, would like to do, ham dinner. So that's what we're going to do. let's see, I'm very excited about having the youth come in again for the a cappella and jazz program on the 21st. That will be the Tri-Valleys holiday meal, and it's typical, it's very, a nice meal, and we'll embellish it with nice plates. We've got some holiday plates and so forth. And then Diane is heading up. I don't know if you would like to speak on the New Year's celebration.
Yeah, that's coming together. Like I've got the DJ Chris coming. I want to do 6 tables, 5 people at a table, 30 people. We've come up with some ideas for putting out food. Peg has offered to bake cranberry bars. I'm
And I'll help with the decorations.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. I'm going to make little pretzels with Rolos on them and stick a candy on the top for the desserts. We've had somebody from the senior housing volunteer to make Italian cookies to supply. I'm buying, I'm ordering Chinese fried rice because people say it's New Year's Eve, you have to have Chinese food. So I'm doing the vegetarian fried rice. Betsy very nicely has agreed to do chicken wings for us.
For 30 people.
For 30 people. Thank you so much.
Can we buy those? I'm thinking when Amy and I went to the restaurant place, they'll give you a 1-day pass to go there. Bring your overcoat.
Definitely. I go there anyhow. My daughter.
You
goes-
do.
Yeah, it's a sorority.
Was that what you were mentioning to me
Yes,
about going
restaurant
to
day.
for you?
Yeah,
Because I think you'll probably get the best value then.
you will get the best value.
All right.
Donna is going to make something that Paula had sent out on Facebook, and it's called a meatball cupcake. It's a little bread cup with a meatball sitting in it and everything. So that, and then the only other thing I was thinking of getting was like each table have either a cracker and cheese tray or a vegetable tray. I would like more of a vegetable tray for each one. And then I think that should be covering it, you know.
Nice.
We'll have to have a meeting probably.
I wanted to wait till after Veterans
Thanksgiving.
Day.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I want to get it down kind of like middle of November or maybe even a little bit later.
Yeah,
but-
that's fine. Because I don't think it'll take us a long time.
Yeah, and then I know I was gonna ask you, I'm gonna be setting up knitting items in the main room there. And maybe you could put some of your flyers there and everything. So when people come through looking at the knitted items, right now I'm just starting out with winter items, scarves, hats and mittens. After we get going after December 2nd, when we really get going and have that fair, then I'll bring out the Afghans and all this sort of stuff. But I'm going to keep that set up all the time right there. And so if they could just have some flyers.
Yeah, I'll make
Somebody
sure.
comes along, here, take a flyer. This is what, we're crammed in this corner, but if we need it.
You could also put the flyers by the check-in station too.
Yeah,
We've had them
yeah.
with the signs and
Yeah,
whatnot, but
so, you
yeah.
know, I'm gonna be in front of like the library area.
One of the, just a side note, one of the selectmen thought maybe, Mike, thought we should bring a sign, one of our posters that we already have, and put it here in the hall, because everybody seems to meet here, just, you know, as an awareness.
Oh, then isn't it time to take that one down? Put ours up?
I was thought. I'm thinking it might be better after we get a rendering from Mike. Sorry.
Okay, intergenerational programs with both.
So I haven't heard back, I haven't reached out actually to the teacher again, but I think we need to explain to everybody, I don't know if we did last month, that the school has pretty much dug their heels in. They want to have all 3 4th grade classes involved in a pen pal program. Peg, having done it before, knows the amount of work that it is, but we do have 2 very enthusiastic volunteers. One is Sue Edmondson, the Friends, and
Cheryl Lemon.
yeah, another is Cheryl Lemon. And just recently I had a 4th person call, you know, so people are calling, they want this program. We're just saying that's 60 seniors. And Peg and I had talked about the idea we could try to do it 3 separate programs, have one person in charge of each classroom. But again, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, you know, number one, each of you getting your 20 seniors to do it. And then number 2, spending a lot of time emailing, running around, picking up letters, helping folks. So I don't know how, the COA feels about that before I get back to the principal and to the teacher that's been our,
Well, Diane's done it also before. so-
yes, Diane has done it also.
It
She's
sounds-
doing
it
a lot
sounds
of work.
almost impossible when you think of, you need to get 60 seniors to be pen pals.
And as much as
That's a
we
lot.
say we're gonna have one person in charge, Peg knows, these other two people are gonna be brand new. They're gonna need hand holding. They're gonna need, us to support them. And if we were gonna do it, my thought was we could try a test pilot, could be something from like maybe mid-January through May. I mean, and Peg, I don't know if you're gonna even have time to do.
And I had a thought that there's 3 fourth grade classes. Do class 1 this month in January, class 2 in February, and class 3 in March.
The problem is with that, Diane, is that you want to be able to establish a relationship
I know.
between, and it sometimes takes the 9 months, like a pregnancy. I mean, seriously, it's because by the time, well, you're doing one letter a month. You're doing one letter a month, it's,
Keep the consistency.
you do to form relationships. I mean, I'm still in contact with my very first pen pal. He's like 22 years old. And Sue Carlson too. I mean,
She is too.
sometimes you make these relationships and they stay. Maybe just be sending a card, but you can't do that in 2 months. No one's going to reveal themselves in that short of time.
So do you think even trying a shorter version of it would be?
My worry is we're not going to get 60 Mendon seniors.
That's a
So if you're
lot,
willing
yeah.
to expand, because I know some of the people that were contacting me, because Cheryl had contacted me, weren't necessarily from Mendon. I don't have a problem with that, but when I did the program, I made sure that I knew every one of my seniors. I either went to their home and visited them, or I already knew them, because I was not putting, we don't have like a Corey system or anything else like that. We
You know
gotta
what?
know the people.
And you know what? Actually, that is not a bad idea. I mean, it's a little bit insulting, but.
I don't think it is. Was
not a bad idea
Was
to
my
coordinate.
child, I'd be wanting to be said. And the first letters I got, I read every letter and I tried to match them up with the senior and I read their letters. We had very, very strict, like no sending candy, no sending money, no sending gifts. I mean, to do it right, it's a lot of work. You can back me up on it.
And I know Janet worked with me, Janet Hubner. I took the program over from her and she worked with me to set me, because I didn't know these seniors. So she helped me set
Right,
up with
and
the
she
seniors.
would.
And then I eventually learned these seniors. But but there's times when the seniors are sick, they go on vacation, do something.
You have
You've
to
gotta be
ghost
right
write.
there.
You
Yep.
become a ghost writer.
Yep. Yep.
They don't make the deadline. You cannot have a disappointed kid. I'd rather have a disappointed senior than have a disappointed child in the classroom when all the letters are being handed out and you're sitting there and you get nothing. As opposed to the seniors who are either dropping off letters, and you did it at the worst time because you did it at COVID. But, we cannot have a disappointed child.
How do you feel collectively? Because I would like to get back to them and,
I'd say postpone until the fall. Okay, start in September.
Have you explored having it be something extracurricular, like working with a club, like scouts or something, instead of having it be through the classroom, to have a smaller set of?
That would be something small.
Well, right, I mean, that would, but I mean, I
Yes.
wonder,
When we were doing it back in the day, it was one
One
class.
class.
See, nobody
know-
wanted to do it in the
Right.
beginning. And Amy set it up with the principal, Mrs. Gallagher, and they said, okay, well, we'll do it with one class.
Yeah.
I was
And
gonna say, why don't you suggest that to her?
we did.
Oh,
we did.
and that you
They
could
dug their heels in.
alternate, do one
Yeah.
class this year, the next
I
class.
can try again.
Because it's gonna be impossible.
This is the third
Three.
principal that I've
Three.
dealt with, and she's new incoming.
think that's,
She's the one that wants to have.
Maybe but if you could explain to her all the difficulty in trying to do
tried.
that if we could have, you've already tried
We
to do
tried.
this?
We tried. We were on a call with her appointed
Maybe be
teacher.
face to face, if she sees that sincere look at you.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and actually, you know
The
what?
deer in the headlights look, you mean?
So fall.
Yeah, I would be in agreement with that because a lot of this work
Yes.
that we're still
Yeah,
knee
but
deep in.
Also, I think, to your point, the relationship you build over time. Nathan, my grandson who we raised, went through that. He loved it. And he met the guy who was an ex-military guy. think he gave him a hat from whatever, and he enjoyed that program.
Oh.
And so
Oh,
it was-
it's a wonderful program. I was so glad that Ray
I
talked
mean,
to me
I
about it.
think if you could explain to her how difficult this would be, that we could all
We tried.
Oh, this is
We
the-
tried.
this is-
And they just,
this is when
it's
they
like,
met.
Well,
no
she,
response.
how does she
They
think
met, I
you're gonna-
guess. I
it's
guess
gonna
they
work?
met.
Yeah, we had
All right, the end of the program.
I'll
Yeah.
go back.
We were
I'll go
supposed to
back.
have.
Get your gavel.
It's too bad, because it's a nice
We quit
program.
because of COVID, so we all met outside the school.
So we're gonna table it
Okay.
till fall.
Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yes.
right.
Going on to new business now and staffing updates.
So as you all know, or maybe you all know, Santa Wayne is going to be going out after 11/21 will be his last day until January. So our driver, Sean, who's been doing an excellent job, will be taking over for the whole month of December and part of November. Regarding our search for a new administrative assistant, HR has received so far 32 applications. She's taken 21 of those she did not feel were appropriate for this position. Of those left, the 11 left, three of them we're looking to interview next week. Earl Perlman, myself, and
Thanks for doing
Jennifer
that.
O'Neill with our HR coordinator will be interviewing these folks. Very excited. So,
That's good. Good turnout.
yes.
Okay, the budget, FY 25.
So I haven't heard anything yet from our town administrator. Usually we're supposed to have something in by November, to be honest with you. Well, I don't know how the system's gonna be set up this year. Last year, we didn't use Springbrook. I don't know if we're even gonna use Springbrook just to the actual budget input it, but, so I haven't heard anything, but I just wanted to keep it in there because typically this is the time of year I expressed to you that we are going to, be working on a budget. I did get some feedback from a board member saying that we should probably try to put in for full-time for our admin assistant position because 18 hours a week is helpful, but I'll tell you, I was left holding so many parts of that position, like transportation. There's only so much that they can do in 18 hours. And when you're looking at running the center, doing the newsletter and things like that, we did update the job description for that position to pull some things out, which that position just wasn't even doing because you can't. Some of them were to be in charge of the senior abatement program. If, they have, all they can do to just, as I said, run the day-to-day activities at the center, to have them running the abatement program when they're only there 3 days a week, it just didn't make sense. So
I bumped into the admin.
Jennifer,
No, excuse me, the
David?
David, yeah, I couldn't think of his name, in the hallway today. So I introduced myself
Oh,
and
good.
whatnot, but he's only gonna be here 6 or 7 more weeks.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know what's.
Not too much longer. So I think I heard, through December, but I'm not sure the exact date.
Yeah, he,
But we're doing, we're starting the search for the new town administrator. So I believe that Collins Center has posted the listing. So hopefully by January, we're hoping in January to have
yeah.
someone new starting.
That would be great.
But yeah,
Have you heard anything about the budget, Elena?
about the budget, not
For-
yet. It
for
hasn't-
FY
hasn't-
25?
Hasn't made it onto one of the select board agendas
Okay.
yet. So I think usually it's the town administrator who's pushing a lot of that forward. So this is a tricky time where we have
Interim.
an interim. So,
Okay.
but I may ask.
I will probably be putting through the same numbers except for that position.
I mean, it seems like a great idea to
Yeah.
extend those hours, especially since with the expansion,
Right,
the
it's
senior center is potentially going to be able to do more.
Be open some
programs,
nights.
And have more people coming.
Right, so I
Will
think
need services.
ramping up that capacity, I think
That's very good.
is helpful, even as, that transition
Mhm,
happens.
We don't want to ask for all the money at one time.
No.
No, really. Because how many times can you go to the well?
Okay, You have a holiday schedule?
Well, the holiday schedule, I put in there for, typically I've been taking a week off. I will probably not do so this year. And I think it'll work out okay because the way the holidays fall, Christmas is on it's a Monday and New Year's is on a Monday. So that'll make for some 3-day work weeks, which will be doable. I've been trying to take some, because I've got a lot of vacation time accumulated. Plus I've got a daughter coming home from college, but that aside, I did want to make you aware of other holiday related things. We have some programs that we've done in the past. Thimble Pleasures Quilt Guild. They adopt one family. They give us the responsibility of choosing the family.
Still doing that?
Yep, they're still doing
That's
that,
great.
Carol. Lions Club has a tree, gosh, what do they call it? Giving Tree program where they're going to be very soon putting, I don't know if they're trees on different at locations. They'll have a tree set up with a tag on it that you can choose and you can buy 1, 2, or 3 items for this senior. So, and I don't think we're just doing seniors. So what's happening, and I'm not sure if they're working with the schools. What we're doing is they're gonna be going out to housing. They have a form, and people from housing can put in requests for different things. But what our department does is we know people that are in need, and so we can discreetly put in a tag for that person.
Do the Lions Club Giving Tree, is it just one location
I
or
think it's going to
various
be
locations?
several locations. Yeah, because they also do it. They don't just do it for Mendon. I think they do it for Upton too.
Okay.
And then St. Gabriel's has been doing a program with us for a number of years. They used to give us a limit to around 10. This year they said we don't have a limit, but we're still going to probably be submitting like a list with 10 individuals. They do not want like children, school age children to be on a list. We help people through the food pantry and with fuel assistance. They don't want school age children because they assume that those children are going to be helped by the school. Doesn't always happen. 2 years ago, I had the social worker went to a family on Christmas Eve only to find out that they had nothing. And that social worker worked her butt off to make sure that there was something for those kids under the tree. For whatever reason, perhaps the single parent didn't connect with the school to get assistance. So St. Gabriel's, we're doing predominantly seniors. Occasionally we do young children that are probably under the age of 5. They're preschool, they're not in the school system yet. So, and that's something that Janet Huberner works, very hard on, and we collaborate together. We also have I think the Lions are going to be doing Thanksgiving dinners for families as they have in the past, and we will supply them with some names of folks that aren't going to be able to have, their own dinner this year or meal this year. So just want to let you know that a lot of holiday things are happening behind the scenes. We try to be as discreet as possible so that people can, enjoy without feeling like they're under a microscope. But in the case of, and I say Lions, I think it's the brothers that are doing the Thanksgiving dinner. They will actually deliver this year. There are some years that Janet has helped to deliver, but not this year. I think she's might be hosting Thanksgiving. So.
Okay. Next is open forum. Now, if anybody wants to go back to any of the other discussions we were having because they feel they didn't get their say, and I'll be glad to entertain that. But otherwise, if anybody has anything new they'd like to bring up.
I have nothing.
Okay, no follow through with anything else right now?
And
Okay.
anything you're missing in the notes that you want us
I
to
don't know.
clarify for
I
you?
don't, I hope not.
Well, no, you do a great job, but I sometimes we do talk fast.
Yeah, I think I got everything.
Okay.
I hope.
Next meeting is scheduled for December 13th. And time to adjourn.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
What time is it? 11, oh, that's, wow. 11
Even with that lengthy discussion, I was still.
Heard of that.
9:15, so you might have to do it.
Oh,
And then I'll do the
When I
next
think
one.
now, literally, kids used to bring fireworks to school.
Never.
And we're not talking
realize that we made
high
the
school, we're
appointment.
talking.
Did you
middle
just
school.
send
I know
me
we
like
closed, but
chronic-
Yeah, this was a British.
Thanks. I had to have Frank's Appliance
Send
come
them
out
today.
for
Never heard
refrigerator in
of
the
that. So
basement.
thank you for letting me know about that.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
But it's
the
not
original.
keeping the correct
Do you know about
temperature,
this?
which we're trying.
You got it.
This day, but you saw
Well,
King
yeah,
Charles
well,
Open
more
Parliament.
research to do. I mean,
We
so
really
I
need to
know
go.
they search.
We're doing bigger
Basement.
But I need
Oh, absolutely we do. There's no
So-
upstairs.
I'm looking to buy,
Justice
and I can
Alito
get
is-
money from the
It's
Texas.
just-
Oh, in other words, if you buy from them,
1520
you don't have
route,
to pay for the
the
house
pilgrim,
call.
because
No,
I'm so sick of the religious embrace. We just.
Why don't you adjourn the meeting? You had done the meeting, stop.
Thank you so
Oh, yeah,
much. I
each,
appreciate
each
you.
mullet that came in.
Just gotta toss through it. You did.
Thank you. I appreciate
But
that.
actually, the